All right, it looks like we are live. Hello, everybody. How are you today? Today is March 5th, 2018. My name is Josh Jacobs, and I am one of the co-founders of TWN, which is what you are on right now, a TWN Hangout. And I have some awesome people joining me today to talk a little bit about Amazon, share their stories, and explain to you how you can get started selling on Amazon. So, first of all, welcome. And I like to start these off by talking a little bit about Amazon and number one, why you even want to, be an Amazon seller and why you would want to explore this opportunity in the first place. Obviously, now we live in the digital world. There are so many different opportunities that you can start from your home or as a side business or whatever. And the reason I believe that Amazon is one of the best, if not the best place to do that is because, first of all, it's a super legitimate company. I mean, Amazon is taking over the world. So it's not like you're going to miss a payment from Amazon or they're going to withhold your earnings or get shut down by the government or the various things that can happen with all these online business opportunities out there right now. That will never happen to Amazon. Amazon is going to keep growing. They're going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and expanding into more and more countries. And, we are here positioned to get a piece of that. And as it is right now, Amazon accounts for 43% of all online sales. And the coolest part, they sold over 5 billion products in Prime products in 2017 alone. And they are larger than Walmart, Costco, Target, eBay, Macy's, Kohl's, all combined, which is just crazy when you think about how many stores those places have. And Amazon, now they're starting to have their storefronts too. But prior to this last year, they never had any storefronts, and they're that big. So it just goes to show that everything is shifting towards e-commerce. Amazon is the giant that's leading the path, and will continue to lead. And the coolest thing to me about all the statistics, I can obviously throw statistics at you for an hour straight. I'm not going to do that. Don't worry. I'm not going to bore you. But the coolest thing to me and the most powerful thing whenever I am looking at Amazon statistics is the number of sellers that sell certain volumes. So the last report I read, over 140,000 third-party sellers, just like me, just like the guys on the panel, just like you can be, have sold over $100,000 a year. So let me just say that again. Over 140,000 third-party sellers sell over $100,000 in sales per year. Now, clarification, we make no promises or guarantees that you're going to make any income. Obviously, everything is based on your work and what you decide to do with the business. So after, just by saying that, I do suggest that after you watch this, I think you're going to want to become part of the team. And my biggest suggestion is just give it all you've got. Don't treat it as a hobby. If you're going to do this, give it all you got. But so let's get back to that. 140,000 people, third-party sellers, sell over $100,000 a year. And over roughly 10,000 people sell over $1 million a year. So it's not just a couple, it's not just Amazon themselves making all this money. It's not just a couple people making a bunch of money. There are a lot of people doing huge numbers on Amazon. And if there's 140,000 doing over $100,000 in sales a year, how many do you think are doing $50,000 in sales a year? Or, there's just so much opportunity. And that's what I love about Amazon. I love the fact that you can get started with 50 bucks if that's all you had and grow it into something big. It would take you a long time starting with a budget like that, but I've seen people do it over the past few years, and it's a possibility. So I'll just start by, I want to give you guys my quick story. I want to let the guys on the panel share their stories and tell you how you can get started with your own Amazon business. Basically, what we've done is put together a training that will teach you step by step in 3 days how to get started with your Amazon business. You'll basically have all the information that you need after 3 days to go out and get started on this business. But we'll talk more about that later. For now, I just want to introduce everybody on the panel and share my story. Like I said before, my name is Josh Jacobs. I have been selling on eBay since I was 13 years old, and I got involved in it because it was something new, and it not necessarily new because I'm 25. It was 12 years ago, but it was new enough where most people did not know how to sell on there or how to use the platform at all. And I leveraged that by, selling my friends' parents' stuff and my friends' parents' stuff. And I would basically just tell them, I want a 20% or 25% commission for all the products that I sell of yours. And it was great. I was selling art, furniture, toys, electronics, tons and tons of stuff. I went through a phase where I sold like all of my friends' paintball guns, and they were like $500, $600 each. It was at that point, it was they were great commissions. I was really happy. I was a teenager and a young teenager, and it was great. So ever since that, I've loved buying and selling. I've loved flipping. I've loved eBay. And later on, when I was in college, I got started with Amazon. And Amazon was just a totally different experience. It's more, it's hard to explain, but it's more professional, and just the scale of it is so much larger than eBay. It's much easier to scale into a giant business on Amazon than it is on eBay. And that's because of a program they have called FBA, which stands for Fulfillment by Amazon. Now, this program will let you send your inventory to Amazon, and Amazon will store it for you. And then anytime an order comes through, they'll pick, pack, and ship that order. They'll deal with customer service. It's an unbelievable program because you could send them one product or 1 million products. And the same, every time an order gets placed, there's no extra time that you need to spend, right? If you were running an eBay store and selling things out of your home, if you had 100 sales a day, you would have to go and package 100 different products individually and go and drop them off at the post office and send them out, right? That's not an easy task. That is a long, time-consuming task to package 100 products. Versus if you are using Amazon's FBA program and you get 100 sales, whether you get 1 sale, 100 sales, 1 million sales, it doesn't matter. There's no more time required from you. Amazon is the people that are doing that labor service for you with FBA. And to be honest, that is one of the most powerful parts of Amazon, is that you could just send them a bunch of inventory, and anytime your products sell, they will be the ones that manage the order fulfillment. Huge benefit. So long story short, I got involved with Amazon and wound up building a nice business and met a lot of people, and we formed this company, TWN, and we wanted to teach other people how they could start an Amazon business and just do something different if they're not happy doing what they're doing. If you're not happy doing what you're doing, we created this company so that you could find something that maybe you like a little bit more and maybe can bring you a little bit more happiness, whatever that is. So with that said, I don't want to talk too much myself. I want to introduce the guys on the panel right now. I will first bring up David, because I've been working with David for years now, and he is an unbelievable Amazon seller. He's built an incredible 7-figure business, and he's just, you know, he's a guy that you want to model after. And he's actually one of the trainers and coaches inside of TWN. So you would be learning directly from him. And again, I couldn't say enough good things about him. He's one of the people that you want to model when you're learning this business. So David, why don't you come on here and just share a little bit about your story, how you got started, and what's going on with you right now.
Absolutely. Can you hear me, man?
Yeah, absolutely. You sound good.
Appreciate the kind words, man. I'm always grateful to be teamed up with this company. It's cool to work for a great company, but it's cool to work for great people too. And that's been something that we definitely have here with the Wealth Network. But anyway, I started in e-commerce. It was January. It was a little over 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago. I started in e-commerce, just like a lot of people probably seeing this this hangout. I started because somebody recommended it to me. I got a referral from a friend, and you know, I'd been doing a little bit on the side. I'd always been interested in eBay. I'd sold some stuff on eBay, sold a little bit of my textbooks instead of selling them to the bookstore. I sold them on Amazon and made probably 2 or 3 times more than, you know, my fellow students that were selling stuff back to the bookstore. But somebody showed me a video on e-commerce and basically how to do drop shipping and all of this. And that was 4 years ago. And at that point I was full-time, active duty in the military, and I was starting to look for a way out. I liked the military, but at the end of the day, I didn't like that I couldn't control my schedule. And I saw this, and I really gravitated to it. It was unlike any network marketing company or anything like that I'd ever seen, because it was a business that you could scale on your own, and you know, you could grow it. But you know, fast forward to 4 years to where I am now. You know, I started that 4 years ago, and then now I'm at a point where, you know, I've got employees, I've got teams of people working for me to help me grow my business, and it doesn't necessarily require me to do it. Right now, that took, you know, a long time for me to do, but at the beginning, it was just me making $3, $5, and then $20 and $50 a day, slowly, and building it up from there. So it's really been an incredible ride. I'm now I've been working for myself for a year now, out of the military. I'm still in the reserves, but yeah, it's been an unbelievable ride, and I can't say enough about the opportunity that e-commerce has given me to grow a legitimate business on my own. And you know, it's something that's not going anywhere. E-commerce is just going to keep growing and growing. So I'm very excited to be in it at this time.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When you know, I know what you're doing, obviously, but you said you have employees and you have a team now. When you first started, right? When you first started, did you see that as the future of this business? Like in day one, did it take you until year 2? Like, when did you start realizing that this business was going to be something that, you know, you took not that you took super seriously, I know you did it from the beginning, but that it could be what it is right now?
No, absolutely. Yeah. When I first started, I was like, I didn't know that it was going to be something that I was going to end up doing full time. I had like a $300 a month golf membership at the time, or $200 a month golf membership, and I wanted to pay for that. Like, that was my goal with e-commerce, is like, just pay for that. I don't want that money to come out of my paycheck. And I had figured out how to do that by like month 2 or 3. And I mean, there was always the back of my mind, like, I don't really want to trade my own time for somebody else's, or to build somebody else's business. And then by like I'd say like month 6, it started to become a thing. And then month 12, which kind of happened to fall in a really good time because it was December of that year, which is obviously e-commerce. It's a crazy month in December. And that month, I equaled what I was making in the military. And at that point, I started to see the vision like you're talking about of, you know, I didn't know if I was going to have employees, but I knew I could do this for myself and kind of make my own schedule. And then, yeah, so year 1 to 4 was really like the growth part for me. But the 12-month mark, that's when I saw a vision for sure.
I ask you that because first of all, that's incredible. But I like to relate it to, the corporate world, right? Like,
Yeah.
first of all, not only do I like to relate it to the corporate world, but I like to relate it to every other business opportunity out there because, take a hint from David, guys. Take a hint from everybody on this panel. But, a lot of people join and they don't see the results that they want after a month or after 3 months or whatever. And they quit and they never, ever think about it again. And it took David up until 12 months until he really thought, okay, this is going to be something that, I do full time. And granted, I know he was making money along the way, but it took him a full year to realize that this is something that he is going to and wants to do full time. And, if for anybody that's watching this, that's jumped from business opportunity to business opportunity and have never given themselves a real chance, I encourage you to do that, whether it's with TWN or something else. You need to give yourself the proper amount of time and energy and effort into your business to really see if it's something that's going to work for you. The reason why the most people fail is because they don't give it their all and they quit too soon. But David, man, thank you so much for sharing your story and keep crushing it. Let's go to Michael because Michael's a new guy that I met last week, I think, or maybe 2 weeks ago on a hangout. And he actually, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago. Time flies. But he actually he started learning from David, and he started an Amazon business of his own. And he has just, he's one of those guys that's going all in, just like I was just talking about. He's one of those people that's doing that. And I told him on the last hangout, I can't wait to see where he's at in 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 12 months from now. Let's hear how he's doing 2 weeks from now. And, for the people who haven't heard your story before, Michael, why don't you go ahead and just tell the people a little about yourself, share your story, how you got started, and what you envision for yourself with this business.
Well, I never saw myself having a real job. Um, for a while, I was in the military. I still am for the next 2 or 3 months. But I was a serious professional grappler, and I hurt my back insanely bad. By 9, 10 months ago, I shattered it. Like, I didn't see any future doing that for me anymore. And during that time, I had to figure out what I was gonna do for the rest of my life. And I knew David Cook was making more money than I was in the military, and decided that he was getting out. And I thought that was crazy. Um, I couldn't see turning down twice what I was making. Uh, so I messaged him on Facebook a couple times. I just asked him what he was actually doing. Uh, I signed up for his newsletter. I got emails from him, like cryptic sounding emails. Uh, and eventually he invited me down to his warehouse, and I went down there. And as soon as I walked in, he had just gotten an entire truckload of liquidated inventory from Amazon, just 20 or 30 pallets in this warehouse. And as soon as I saw that, I just thought, wow, this is great. This is a lot of money. I could do this. Because it just looked challenging. It looked like the crazy, creative, insane amounts of hard work that I wanted to do. But without trading my time to somebody else. I just didn't think it was fair for me to sell I thought my time was more valuable than anybody could pay me. Like, and be any kind of sane. Um, so after that, I started my own Amazon business. I did everything right. I created my LLC. I signed up for TWN, so everybody else in this panel learned some other way. But I just learned straight from the training. The first 3 weeks, I did nothing but learn. I just sat down on my computer. I watched all the TWN videos. The setup was a little different 6 months ago, but I got a lot out of it. I got an insane amount out of it. I researched everything I could. I learned. and I've benefited a lot from just at first I just hung out at David's warehouse until he'd kick me out. Uh, I would I'd get out of work and I would drive a town over to try and get there before he left at 5 or 6 or 7. David never leaves. David lives there sometimes. Um, but it's no. David takes vacations all the time too. He also does whatever he wants. So I love that. David's like, but no. I stuck around. I tried to learn absolutely everything I could, and I've benefited from him telling me when I'm about to make huge mistakes, which I've pretty much avoided so far. With Inventory Lab and all the other plugins and everything, I figured I put in about 9,000 of my own money, and I'm with my cost of goods as I bought them. I'm up to about 13, a little more than 13,000. So I've made probably 1,000 a month for the last 4 months, which is crazy. Most businesses fail. Most businesses don't make any money for the first year, which is what all the other panelists are talking about, where you just have to stick it out. You just have to try harder. I don't think things fail because they're destined to fail. I think they fail because people don't try hard enough. That's
Man,
all
I can't. So I know you told me this on the other Hangout too, but I'm just starting to realize that for your first 4 months, you've basically averaged 1,000 a month in profit, which again, we make no income claims or guarantees or promises. Everybody's work is their own work. We don't know what you're going to do. And, but that is just, it's amazing. It's really, really cool to see somebody so new, you know, starting off and doing great things after going through the training. Especially because you said the first 3 weeks, all you did was learn, and you didn't even take any, you know, you didn't start until after the 3 weeks. So
yeah,
that shortens the time period down a little bit too. So let me ask you kind of the same question that I asked David, but you're at a way earlier phase right now. What do you see a vision? You obviously have more people around you now that have, you know, have gotten to that place a few years down the road. Do you see the vision for yourself of where you're going to be in a year or 2 years or 3 years, whatever your goals are?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to go to college on the GI Bill. The GI Bill is going to let me live, and I'm going to be able to spend the 40, 50, 60, probably 80 hours a week building my business where I don't have to pay myself. Like I know I'm very lucky to be in that situation. But I can see myself scaling as quickly as I can. Like 3 months, I started in 4 months in. Right at 4 months in, I got my own place. With when David Cook expanded to a second location, I got half of that. Like I have my own place. Like I'm not just working out of my 1 bedroom that I live in.
Which would be fine if that's what you were doing. But the fact that you've already got your own space is amazing. But you know, that's not, you obviously have a big opportunity right now, because to be honest with you, every single person that I know got started right from their bedroom, you know? So like you got that jump start right now, which is going to be a really good thing for you. But if you don't have access to a warehouse, don't worry.
Yeah.
The majority of people I know have started from their bedroom, and you know what? The majority of people I know still do it from their houses. The majority of people that I know in this business do not have a warehouse. They just do it from their house, from their basement, from their garage, from their living room, from wherever.
If you have a house, you have more space than I live in. Don't.
Yeah. I know. I live in downtown Chicago in a condo too, so I know space is limited. But
yeah, there's something he said. I mean, I wanted to kind of look at his versus my story. I mean, you know, I've got all this now 4 years later, right? I've got a pretty successful business, but when I started, it was on a credit card. Like That was it. Like I didn't have, like Michael did, I didn't have $9 grand to put into it. And majority of people don't. You know, he was lucky enough to be in that situation because he had, you know, 22 years old, pretty smart. He had saved some money, and he just had that ready to invest at the right time, which he did. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know what your story is, Josh. I know Brian didn't have a ton of money when he first started. You know, I started on a credit card, and I said, you know, if I can spend $500 and make 600, then I'm going to be able to pay this credit card back. So, yeah, I mean, everybody's story is a little different, and you know, some people have a little bit not easier start, but they start at maybe a different threshold. But yeah, anything's possible, really.
I could have started with way less, but David Cook told me not to.
Well, I'm sure you're happy with his advice.
Oh no, I'm thrilled. I would basically do anything David Cook told me. So now that he knows that, it's pretty dangerous.
Oh man, that's great. Well, thank you so much, Michael, for hopping on again. I'm just looking forward to, you know, keeping it going and seeing your progress. So appreciate you, and keep up the great work. Now, this next guy that I'm going to bring up is another amazing Amazon seller that I've known for about the same period of time as David Cook. He is another 7-figure seller. He's one of the coaches inside of TWN that you're going to actually learn from inside of there. You know, again, I can't say enough good things about any of these guys, but this is a guy that's going to show you, you know, how to get to a level that he probably never even imagined was possible before. So, well, I don't want to say that for him, but Brian, why don't you come out, tell the people a little bit about yourself, you know, how you started and how you got to where you're at right now.
Yeah. Hey guys, how's it going, man? Yeah. You know, what's funny is these guys have very similar stories to how I started 5 years ago. 6 years ago, Josh? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, my story. 13. Yeah. You know, what's funny. When I found this and making money with e-commerce, I had just gotten out of another business opportunity where somebody stole $10,000 from me. I don't share that a lot because, I mean, it's in the past, one, and two, who wants to brag about getting money stolen from them, right? But I was so broke that, I mean, we had a new baby. We were barely paying for diapers. We were buying groceries on credit cards. I was broke, like broker than broke. It was ridiculous. And, you know, the opportunity back then just to learn the basics was $20. And I had to find $20 to do this. And it was really scary. You know, my wife, she told me no, and I did it anyway. So she was furious. So those of you who are married and sleeping on the couch, definitely happened. And man, it was an eye-opening thing though, right? Like when you put your butt on the line and you have to do something and you have to make it work, is really kind of when it kind of separates the men from the boys, per se. You know, like I had to do it. I had to make it work. My wife was mad at me and we were broke. And, you know, my first day, you know, it wasn't a lot. I made $5 in my first day. I was one of the fortunate people. Not everybody gets a sale in their first 24 hours selling on eBay or Amazon. But it happened for me and I made $5. And that was kind of the catalyst that got me so excited about this business and had me move forward for years. I mean, it was the beginning of it all. You know, my first month I made $500. My first year, I think I probably grossed, you know, $20,000 in sales. It wasn't much, but you know what? To supplement your job and to have just a little side gig that you're doing on the weekends or in the evenings, an extra $20,000 a year in sales is pretty good. You know, I think anybody would be really satisfied with those results. And, you know, not all results are typical, but it is possible. You know, I've been teaching people this for 5 years. And I would say the majority of people that actually give it an honest effort and put the work in and do it every single day, they have success. The only people that I've ever seen fail in this industry are the people that they sign up, they don't do anything, they don't put the work in, they don't put any listings up, and they don't make any money. So, you know, it has been a life-changing experience. Last year alone, 2017, I netted over $1 million in profit, which for me, it's mind-blowing. You know, I served in the Navy. I'm an electrician. You know, my path was supposed to be a 9-to-5 job, doing some kind of electrician work or electrical engineering, something along those lines, making $50,000, $60,000 a year. And by taking my life into my own hands and trying something on the internet that most people don't bother doing, it was the most beneficial thing I've ever done. I built a house a couple years ago. You know, we just finished the landscaping in the backyard. I live in a really nice place. And like I said, my lifestyle and my path was not supposed to take me here, but I did something different. I broke the mold, and I'm the most thrilled person ever. You know, I was just looking at my sales today on Amazon. Just today, again, results aren't typical, but just today I profited $2,000, and I spent most of the day driving around in my car and hanging out with my buddy. We had lunch. You know, I don't think I put any kind of work in today at all, but you know, it's amazing to be able to have your own hours, have your own schedule, control your life, own your life. I take my kids to school every day. I pick them up every day. I go to all the sporting events. You know, when I was growing up, my dad, he worked as an electrician as well. And there was a lot of times where I'd be playing Little League and I'd be having a game and my dad would be late because he'd get off work late, or there was an outage that he had to take care of, and he'd miss the first half of the game or all the game. And, you know, I didn't want that for my kids, and I don't think I'm ever going to have to. I can attend all the games, and that's something that's really important to me and my wife. So we're able to do those things, travel all the time. We have complete freedom and complete choices over everything. I've got a full staff that works for me now. I run a warehouse too, just like David does. And it's really fulfilling. It's a lot of fun. And, you know, getting into the Wealth Network, I can tell you from personal experience that the training in there is top notch. And literally it's everything that I know. I'm one of the trainers. There are some other trainers that are also equally awesome on Amazon and eBay. And I know for a fact, if you guys come in, you take it seriously, you get started right now, today, click the button below this video, you can really make a huge difference in your life and change your path, do something different. So,
man, I know I've heard your story literally 100 times, but that seriously gave me goosebumps. Just nice. The way you told it today, it was like, man, just like, yeah, I took a different path. There was a fork in the road, and I just like it was great.
You know, it was that defined. It really was. You know, like you're going. I had a regular 9-to-5 job, man. I loved my job. It was amazing.
I remember.
Yeah, but you know what? It was like, well, do I want to continue to make 50 grand a year, or do I want to maybe try to find another way? And you know, it was a side gig at first. Just like David wanted to just pay for his golf membership, I just wanted to pay for my car. And I started paying for my car, and then I started paying for my mortgage. And then I got in a fight with my boss over the phone. And I'm like, wait a minute, why am I arguing to have this job? I make 3 times as much money on Amazon than I do with this. So peace, I'm out of here. I quit, you know? So, you know, it's been fun. That's all I got to say.
It's amazing, man. You know, I'm speechless, honestly. Like tonight, I love the way that you told that story. And I feel like we need to cut that part of the video and play it in the background somewhere when we
put it on the main sales page. Yeah.
Man, I mean, there's nothing else to say after that, honestly. That if you guys are interested in starting an Amazon business, if you want to, you know, like Brian said, if you want to take another path and explore another path and see if there's something else out there for you, you know, we can't promise you're going to make a ton of money. We can't promise you're going to make any money at all. We can't promise you're going to like it. But what we can tell you is we've been in this industry for a long time. We've experienced many different business opportunities, many different categories of companies, many different people, and this is where we've all stuck. This is where we've all had success. This is where we've all met friends. This is where we've all made great relationships and found, you know, a sense of happiness in, you know, this path. There's a lot of people who make a bunch of money and hate their lives. I mean, that's not what we are teaching you here. We are teaching you, you know, what makes us happy, and in turn, we hope that can make you happy. And I highly encourage you to click the button below and get started tonight. It's only $3 to get started. You're going to get an advisor that's going to help you walk through the videos and make sure that you're understanding all the content and taking action on it, because as we said many times before and will continue to say, you can learn all you want, but if you don't take action, nothing is going to happen for you. You have to take action on what you're doing. And that's exactly what the advisor is there for, to make sure that you're going through these videos, to make sure that you are actually taking action on that video, on the step that's in that video. And there's a big benefit in that. So for only $3, you're going to get all that. Again, I don't have anything else to say. It's $3. I suggest you get started right now and, you know, explore that other path and see what happens, as Brian said. So if anybody else has anything to add, go ahead and jump on.
I just want to say there's never a perfect time to get started. You're always going to have excuses about why right now isn't the right time to get started. You don't have enough time. You know, your dog just died. You just got a dog. You know, all sorts of stuff that you could say about why it's not the right time to start. But like Josh said, just doing something every day, or, you know, just about every day to further, you know, a business that you get into, whether it's TWN or not, that's the secret.
Consistent, imperfect action. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to do everything exactly right. You just got to do it. And you learn more from experience than from anything else. So with that said, have a great night, everybody. Click the link below and get started with us, and we will see you on the inside, and we'll see you on the next Hangout. Have a great night.